So hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, and it is the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are a great people, but we can always strive to do better. Hello, Moni. How are you doing? And so today we are going to be talking about the guilt trip of the left. Of course, you all know who the left is, and that is the Democrat. And I think y'all could ascertain that by the thumbnail that I put up. But I also like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are participants, because we do read your comments on this show. Also like to say a big giant thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything he does behind the scenes on Facebook to make the show go even further. Hello, Rain Love. How you doing? Michael and Robin, good evening to you. So we're going to have a very, I guess, I don't know how heated it'll be, but it'll be a good discussion nevertheless. So Donovan, what say you before we get into it?
All right. Welcome, you guys. It is Sunday, football Sunday, by the way. And then if it's football Sunday, you've got Demetra K stomping on a man's day off where he can relax and get all this information going. But before we get into that, I just want to say this. How about those Cowboys? Cowboys! They did it again. 5-2 right now, and the record's going like that. So, and I'm getting excited about football, Demetra, because as you know, we boycotted football for 2 years. So, I kind of missed a lot in those 2 years. Well, not really. There was the Dallas Cowboy. I didn't really miss a lot, but whatever it was. But do us a favor, you guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and even become a member, because the primaries as well as the midterms are coming up, and it's going to be very, very important. As you guys know, as human beings, that is when we pivot, when the news cycles are all talking about all these elections and stuff. And that's when you guys really start paying attention to what's going on. So please like, share, and subscribe, even become a member, because people like Demetra K and other of the new Black media will be putting out information that might be beneficial to you in regards to how to vote, what to look for, and all those other things. So it's going to be an interesting show today. Demetra and I talk about this during the week, and, we see these things that are actually happening. So we want a little bit of you guys' opinion. If you guys have noticed these things and have seen some of these Democratic shills, as I say in my podcast, Black politicians ain't. And see if you guys do the same thing. So let's get into a great conversation.
Hello, Mr. Timothy Bright. He says you have a Democrat online. No, he's recovering. He's not a Democrat. He's just like, an alcoholic. They're always in recovery. Well, he says that he's always in recovery. So that's why he is the recovering Democrat. All right, so let's see who else came on here before we get started. Sherry, what's going on with you? Tracy, DSB, what's going on? Anita, only Pamela's way. Hello. And Tawana and Be Easy That Dude, what's going on with you? So anyway, of course, you guys know that we are really approaching the midterms, which is November 3rd, 4th, or I don't even know at this point, but it's the first week of November. Needless to say, midterms, where a whole host of seats are up for grabs, Senate, Congress, mayors, and you name it. There's a lot of city council seats even. And so, of course, you have a lot of people out there trying to get people on board. And so specifically, we are going to be talking about that on the left. So Randy say November 8th. We don't even know. That's a shame, but we should. And so especially people on the left, I noticed, well, obviously there's been like a guilt trip, but as you guys may or may not know, I had a little bit of a back and forth with that of Roland Martin a couple of days ago, where, he's been running around talking about the anti-Asian hate crime bill is for everybody. We know who it was really meant for. It wasn't meant for the everybody per se. So in his tirade, if you will, of calling me a whole host of names on Twitter, he was saying, how come I don't talk about the GOP, for example, basically saying that if I'm against the Democrats, then I must be a Republican. And you guys have watched the show long enough, know that neither Donovan nor I are a Democrat or Republican. I am nonpartisan, and Donovan identifies, I guess, kind of the same thing as independent. And so there's this guilt trip that, again, if you're not for the Democrats, you must be for the Republicans. And you know the Republicans, they never like Black people, and the Republicans have done this and they've done that. And it's like, well, we're not disputing any of that at all. But how does bringing up what the Republicans are doing or not doing for Black people, how does that excuse what the Democrats are not doing or doing to Black people? Now, of course, we like to hold the Democratic Party's feet to the fire because they benefit the most from Black voters. In fact, they would not win hardly anything without Black votes. It's just a fact. And so, time and time again, we have watched the Democratic Party get in office on our votes. Now, other people vote for them too, but let's talk about us as voters. They get in office on our votes, and they do what? They do for everybody else but Black people. And we're speaking specifics because somebody will say, well, what about the Affordable Care Act? And what about the student loan forgiveness? Yes, great, thank you. But we're talking about something specifically for us. We want a specific bill that addresses the brutality that we experience day to day in this country. We most notably want our money. We want reparations. And the Republicans are like, hell no, you Negroes ain't getting reparations. All right, that's not a secret. But ask a Democrat. Now, lately, they've kind of been, it's not a secret that as a party, they're not really for reparations. Of course, they say, well, we'll think about a study. But if you ask a Democrat, especially that of now, like Stacey Abrams and Ralph Warnock, it's like, well, so what happened was the cow jumped over the moon, and then the sky is blue, and then the little chicken crossed the road, and then, well, I don't know. So they never really just come out and say, no, we ain't for y'all getting reparations, but yet we'll benefit by watching Stacey Abrams. I don't know if y'all saw Stacey Abrams over the weekend. She's, wiggling her behind everywhere. She was on the stage without a big lotto, and she's holding up a sign, and they're like, yeah, Stacey Abrams, and she's visiting all the HBCUs, I guess, in the South. They are in Georgia, and she's dancing this, that, and the other. So it's like, yeah, we get all that kind of stuff, but you won't answer the question. What do we as Black people get specifically for voting for you? And then you have your people like your Roland Martins, who, as I said, I believe he's a very smart guy, but he's very misleading and disingenuous and not telling Black people the truth. And then he goes as far as, if you want to know the truth or you ask a question, all right, great. What do I get for voting for Stacey Abrams? What do I get for voting for Ralph Warnock or any other Democrat? Oh, you're an idiot. You're stupid. It's like, man, just answer the question. I would be all right if you said nothing. But to insult Black people because we are saying, well, hey, we're tired of showing up to the polls and getting nothing. This time, if you want us to show up, what do we get? And we're dead serious, right? We're not going to show up for nothing this time. And then we get insulted and you get accused of being a Republican and, Trump's going to come back in office. And it's like, y'all bringing that back out. Y'all bringing, so what if he comes back in office? How are we as Black people going to be worse off or better off? I mean, like, how much worse off are we going to be that we are now? We are experiencing even more hardship as Black people in this country. Ask anybody who's had to put gas in their car in the last couple of months. It's very expensive. I was looking at housing prices in California because I was like, if I end up going back there, I might want to, give me a nice little house. Well, just the rent alone in California, and I'm not even talking about Los Angeles, in a place called Moreno Valley, they want $4,000, $5,000. I saw even some cases $7,200 for I think it was a 6-bedroom house just to rent. So where are we going to be able to go buy houses? We know that we are now the most homeless population, the most unemployed, the most everything you could think of, we are. But yet when we ask what's in it for us to show up to the polls, we get cussed out or we get guilt tripped. Oh, you must be for the Republicans. It's like, y'all tell me. So Donovan, what say you? Then I'm going to get to you guys' comments. Yes, and then y'all can bring up anything else that you want. I know a lot of things have transpired throughout the week, and we'll talk about that, whatever it is. Donovan?
Yes, and that beautiful city that you talked about, Moreno Valley, that is the city that I live in. That is actually the city that I live in. And a lot of the people that were gentrified out of LA came out to Moreno Valley and tearing up the city with their LA mentality. And and like I said, it's just a matter of time before, these people move into your neighborhoods and tear up those cities over there with their California West Coast mentality. But yeah, you bring up a lot of good points. Like I said, we are getting people, the new Black media is out there giving an alternate reality to what the Democrats or the Republicans are putting out there. In a democratic society, you're supposed to have all sorts of opinions and ideas out there for the people to pick and choose what side are they on. Why is it that Black people must continually kowtow down and use the same talking points in regards to how we do things? A good example is this. The majority of Black people do not attend HBCUs. The symbolism of going to an HBCU does what to the majority of Black people? Absolutely nothing. So your girl, Stacey Abrams, she is catering to the boule type, the Roland Martin types and all these other people. But let me tell you guys something about the boule. We're talking in numbers. There is not enough numbers of the boule to deal with the majority of Black people who are in abject poverty and what else is happening out there. Let's just be real. Let's go by the numbers. If 70% of Black people are incarcerated in these jails that white politicians and even Joe Biden himself has stock in, and his 1994 crime bill incentivizes the states to lock up Black people, let's just go by the numbers. That's 15% of our population. I'll even go 10 with you. That's 10% of people not voting, not doing anything, right? Then you take the people who are below the poverty level, and let's say, I'm going to be generous. Let's say the poverty level is $23,000 and below. The average salary of a Black man in this country is about, $47,000. Almost 40-something% of Black people don't make $23,000 a year. Black families, they don't make that in salary. So you tell me, where are we winning? Where are we winning? But see, what it is we love the symbolism. We love to lie to ourselves. We love to say, because we've got $400 shoes on our feet, we love to say, because I've got the new Louis Vuitton, or I got the Kanye shoes, or whatever it is. I've got the $500,000 house that you shouldn't get when you should get the $200,000 house because it's just you, your wife, and a baby. We love to fool ourselves and do that. As people are now defaulting and foreclosing on their homes. As you guys know, redlining is a real thing. These banks know who is Black and who's white. It has already been reported and documented. There are more foreclosures against Black people than any other group in the United States. Why is that? And yet we sit here and wait for the Democratic Party to save us. When are we going to wake up and say, you know what? We have no friends. We are out here by ourselves. We, as Black men and Black women, need each other. Black men, get your up off your asses, turn the damn TV off, put the damn PlayStation down, go out and get your children and get your woman and live as a family and do it to the best you can, because we are not going to survive. We are now a permanent underclass if you look at the numbers.
Yes, indeed. So I'm going to start reading you all's comments. Thank y'all so much for being patient. If you guys are on Facebook and you see this, click on the link and come over here. I would love to read your comment. D Maverick, how are you doing today? Says, what are you getting from Trump? Says, why weren't you asking Trump what was he giving? The president does not set gas prices. The Republican-run gas supply companies set for gas. So I guess that is partially true. And again, I'm going to tell you, I did not vote for Trump. I am not a Trump supporter. But then again, see, there's that other, as I called it, the false dilemma, in that if you are not for the Democrats, you must be for the Republicans. That's not true. There's so many other options out there. And again, we as Black people, as Dr. Claude Anderson says all the time, are the only group of people that vote as a block for our oppression. We are the only group of people that vote predominantly for a party, and for a party that will do nothing for us. And so I have never said that I am for Trump. I will say that I think Black people could agree that we did have a better time economically under Trump. But, so let's say that the president does not set gas prices. Does he put his rubber stamp on sending billions of dollars to other countries? While you got people here sleeping on the streets, you got people here trying to figure out whether they're going to eat or put gas in their car to go to work and earn a check. So there's things that he could do. And then I saw too, a lot of people disagreed with what I said about Jackson, Mississippi, and that, they could send more money, they being the Democrats, to the Republic. To Jackson, Mississippi. People says, oh, well, the Democrats did send it, but the Republicans blocked it. Well, send it directly to the mayor. Send it directly to the mayor, and then he could pay for the water, needed to be up to par. So there's ways to do it, that things can be done. But I think we need to stop excusing the Democrats by bringing up, well, what about Trump? Because what we do is we participate in whataboutisms, and we don't get anywhere. No one here is a Trump supporter at all. Did not vote for Trump. But I have said that if it came down to voting for Trump or Biden, I would vote for Trump, because if y'all are asking us to choose between the lesser of two evils, and if you really look at the background of both of them in regards to Black people, the lesser of two evils is going to be Trump all day. So I hope that helps. All right, so let me move right along here. And William, how you doing? And Bernita, what's going on? He says, let them say whatever Dems do nothing. I think you meant for our vote. Okay, so don't cry for Black people, vote. Okay. And Timothy says, before I became a chef, I knew how to cook fish and barbecue. I'm so disappointed that our people are offered less and don't want to take the blinders off their eyes, and religious folks talking about you too. Absolutely. And in regards to the barbecue and the fish, that's the kind of stuff that they give us. A fish fry for your votes. Like, what happened to the teach a man the fish and he'll eat for a lifetime instead of giving us the fish? You know what I mean? Teach us to fish with a reparations check. Jeremy Hauser Awaken, how are you doing? He says, so you're talking to somebody else, but how you doing anyway? Yes, please, if y'all could like this chat, I would love and appreciate you. Kimberly, how you doing? Says, I personally think Black Americans as a whole should hold our votes from Republicans and Democrats for this election cycle until we are shown tangibles. Neither of these parties should get our votes. I totally agree. Like, what are we going to get out of it? Everyone else gets something from it. And Pamela, you said cuspid report. And let's see here. And Michael, you said African Americans are losing because Democrats co-opted with Republicans to implement the crime bill, etc. Yes, they did. In fact, Joe Biden told Bush that it wasn't tough enough. I'm just saying. Jarrell, how you doing? Says, I recommend people also watch the Dan Calloway channel. Black Americans are the true American Indians. It's time to reclaim this land. Okay, I've been hearing a lot about him. I think it's him lately. And DSB, he say, and every time Biden gets on TV, he's mocking the Black community. Every bill he has signed from day one was to mock the Black community. I totally agree with you, knowing that we have been asking for stuff, right? Be Easy says Trump was trash, but he was better than Biden. Yeah, and a lot of people would agree with that. And Pamela, you said Trump did hold a conversation with Ice Cube. Yes, he did. And Black people rake Ice Cube over the coals for doing so. Be Easy says quid pro quo, leverage your vote and negotiate tangibles. Absolutely, it's a give and take, right? What do I get if I help you? And Pioneer says he may have listened to him, but Trump didn't do jack for Q. Well, that was contingent upon him staying in office. Trump did not stay in office, right? Because that's what the conversation was about. He says whoever is going to be the president next time, I want to hand them the contract for Black America, and I want them to actually use it. So that was the conversation. Craig, how you doing? He says, I said this also so that as Black people, we have no friends. I'm a Democrat, but I will never vote for the Democratic Party again. My eyes are finally open. As with a lot of people, Black America, how you doing? Says my taxes went up a whole lot under Trump. Okay. And let's see here. Thunder, what's going on with you? Robbie says, to be honest, I've always done better under Republican administration. And thank you, Mike. And Kiki, what's going on with you? Say miracles and blessings, Pete. And Pamela says, and Lion Jim Crow Joe, as of yet to take a phone call from Ice Cube, it's been 2 years. Yeah, what's up with that? And
let me say something just real quick, because I know we get to the things.
Oh, go ahead.
Have you noticed that when the people that are, especially our people, the Black people that are working out there, grinding it out hard, making the right decisions, not playing for the foolishness, they're out there paying their bills and stuff, they seem to do better under a Republican regime. For some reason, they are doing better. But the people that are screwing off. Girl, you ain't got to pay your rent. They got a moratorium going on and so on. You know, people that are taking the shortcuts, they're the ones always with their hands out asking for help, 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 help. I'm just putting that out there for those people that might not have noticed that. It's always the people that are grinding and doing what they need to do. When the Republicans come in office, they're doing very well. They're getting the tax breaks. They're getting the housing. They're getting everything's getting situated. But it's always the people that got their hands out that seem to keep falling deeper and deeper into the abyss.
And once again, hello, Kiki. He says, the only thing I'm voting for here next month is in reference to the marijuana bill. Sorry, not sorry. I just don't want recreational weed legalized here in Florida. I'm tired of smelling stank stuff everywhere I go. Sorry, y'all. I'm just... Okay, well, that's your right to do so, sis. And Michael, how are you doing? He says, if Black people are... Indian, I think, and your comment cut off. And Bakari said Jim Crow Joe and all politicians are against us. We must pull our resources together. We have nobody but us. I totally agree with you. The call has been for us to do for self for a very long time. Even if they never give us reparations, there's things that we should be doing. We give nearly $1 trillion away of our money as Black people in America to everybody else. We are the consummate consumer, if you will. And so we don't really keep much of our money. So, by doing business with our own people and saving some of that money, that's how we can start doing for self. So good point. Carla Brown, how you doing? He says, I'm not wasting my time. Okay. And Thunder, you said, serious question. How many poor Black Republicans do you know? And how many of them are on government assistance? Good
question. None. I don't know any.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, but I know a whole bunch of poor in the street Democratic Black folks. I know a whole bunch of them.
So, Brother Pioneer said, Brother Donovan, the only Black people I know who do better under Republicans are those who are making over $200,000 a year. Their arrests usually don't. At least this is the case in Michigan. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where you're at, a certain amount of money, whatever you're going to do. But okay, let's put it like this. I'm a recovering Democrat. California is a predominantly Democratic state. We are taxed our asses off out here. So I'm just like, okay, there's not a lot of Republican people out here. I mean, there are some extremely rich people. But the point is, where I'm at as a independent type person, when I was a Democrat, whatever, I'm getting taxed just out of the market. And then most of your Black people that have left California, why do you think one of the reasons why they're leaving is they can't afford to live here? They're being taxed by their own party out of the state that they love and are from. This is the Democrats doing this in California. This ain't the Republicans. The Republicans have no say-so in California what goes on here. Zero. Even Demetra is in Houston right now.
Absolutely. I want to go back to this. Timothy, he says, I'm listening to people say, let's hold our vote. Sounds good, but why? We have not gone to the Capitol and White House demanding for the protection bill. We are killed almost every week. Do you honestly think we've never demanded a bill for protection? I'm going to let you answer that. I want to answer that for you. And let's see here. And Robin, let me get to Robin. He says, I'm struggling under this administration and I take care of my whole family financially. 4 families I'm taking care of to keep their heads above water. Taxes are eating me up. Wow. Bakari says we must build our own nation. Absolutely. Pioneer says, I'll support Tariq's reparation rally, but I hope it doesn't turn political and he starts telling Black people not to vote. Are you going to go? And be easy, you say, to be fair, everyone has their hand out to an extent. Billionaires get the most handouts in the form of tax breaks, subsidies, etc. But I agree, you must grind harder and smarter. Absolutely.
Now, didn't the Democrats say for years, even under the Obama administration, the biggest problem in politics is money in politics? It shouldn't be take $1 billion to run for president and stuff like that. The Democrats were hollering and screaming that, right? If you vote for us, we're going to get money out of politics. What have they done?
Yeah, exactly. Sherry says that is just plain foolishness. You are right on the nail. Okay. And Ricky Jones, how you doing? Says hold your vote. Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to be on here telling people what to do, but I just know for me, I'm not going to continue voting for more of nothing. It's just not going to happen, right? Pioneer says I don't agree with the high taxes the Democrats usually promote. Like I said, I don't trust either party, and I think they are corrupt and ran by racists. Yep, you would be right. And let's see, Michael says focus on the Green Party candidates or third party candidates because they fight for cash reparations, etc. They say they do. And once they get in there, I guess that remains to be seen, right? Because some people have said that they are for reparations, and they get in there. It's like, did I say that? And let's see here. Jimmy James, how you doing? So they leave California and vote for the same madness in their new location. Interesting. And tell it like it is. How you doing? It says most of these egregious police shootings of Black people is being carried out in Democratic states, and that is absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. Louisiana that has a Democratic governor, if I'm not mistaken, and they're wanting to house children, offenders, some of them who haven't even gone to court yet, in a portion of Angola that is now closed, but I guess they want to open it back up. Anybody who knows anything about Angola to state penitentiary know it is the harshest and the worst penitentiary in the United States, and some would even say probably around the world. On an old plantation, it's the most heinous things you can think of goes on there, and they are thinking about putting children there. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying children shouldn't be punished, but damn, you know what I mean? They have to put them with their own demographic, but I wouldn't put children in prisons with grown, adults, because you guys know what happens there. So it's but that's what I understand under Democratic governor. All right, so let's see here. Where did I leave off? Okay, and so Kiki said a lot of Democrats don't realize they got that last stimulus because of Trump. You see, Biden hasn't offered one, right? And wouldn't have been that last one if it hadn't been done under Trump. Have the face of truth, folks. Yes, exactly. And then Biden and them said it was going to be $2,000 when they were stomping in Georgia. But then he said, it's going to be $1,400 because y'all remember Trump gave y'all $6,000. So, you know what I mean? And a lot of people in Georgia are pretty upset about that. It's like, no, we ain't forgot. We ain't forgot y'all came in here talking about some $2,000 and then y'all short changes, $600. So, and then Bakari says, I don't feed into that left-right paradigm. I don't either. And BEZ says Democrats are way more corrupt than they behold to just as many beholden to just as many billionaires as the GOP is absolutely right. I mean, Biden's a corporatist. There's a lot of them that are corporatists. And they are beholden, like you said, to corporations and lobbyists and dark money and all that kind of stuff. But they know, and this is kind of the pushback that I had with Roland, and I wasn't even really directly responding to him. His name was just actually on the Twitter feed. I said, they know that most Negroes won't read these bills. They know that we'll go off of the dressed up, pretty language of the people they set out there to tell us what to do and how to feel. But it's like, y'all could go to the Anti-Asian Hate Crime Bill. It's really known as the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. You could go there, and the first portion of it talks all about Asians and Pacific Islanders, but leave it to somebody like Roland Martin. He'll continue telling you that bill is for everybody. So just thought I'd put that out there. DBS, she says, I'm with Ricky Jones. I am staying home with my heels kicked up and a bowl of popcorn. And Bakari says, the United States of America is really a corporation. Wake up, my people. Very true. And Pamela says, we have demanded a bill for protection. I know I put it out on Twitter almost every day. It's called the Anti-Black Hate Crime Bill, just so people know they don't answer emails or calls Democrats. Yep. And Pioneer says, Brother Donovan, how about a party with low taxes and reparations with universal health care? We can have it if we start it instead of running from one white party to another. I totally agree with you. It is doable. We can do it. Hello, Brother Don. How are you? And Be Easy says, y'all saw how resistant Pelosi was toward that stock ban bill. They all got filthy richer during the scamdemic. Okay. And Kimberly says, restoration along with reparations should be advocated for. Absolutely. And Blasphemy, how are you doing? You say since slavery. And Bakari says, that sounds nice, a pioneer. Okay. And let's see. Blasphemy, you say it's plantation. Yes, talking about Angola. Absolutely. And let's see here. Be Easy says the mayor of New York is housing illegal aliens and giving them food, driver's license, and health care. Meanwhile, it's right next to a homeless encampment. He is the one demonizing drill music. So you talk about Eric Adams. I saw where they were taking a tour of the facility that they're going to be housing the immigrants, and it's really nice and things like that. But like you said, you got people sleeping on the streets. It's just like, is this real life? You know what I mean? And Amoni says they are running scared, Donovan, because they know that more people have woke up and they're not voting either way. I say, let, he said, I see, I think he meant, I say, let's those who they gave their money to, let them put them back in office. Yes, yes, indeed. People who are going to actually benefit from having them in office, those are the ones that should vote. If they want us to vote, then they should do something specifically for us. It's not hard. We've been asking for the same thing for a very long time, but they act like they don't hear us. But the other thing too is that's our fault, because they know that we're going to show up, be guilt tripped into showing up to the polls. Because if you don't vote, our ancestors died for the right to vote. And as I always say, our ancestors did not die for the right to vote. They died for us to get something for that vote. They did not die just so we can go on the booth and check off a box or two and say, ancestors, are you proud of me? I did it. The ancestors would say, well, that's half the battle, but what did you go vote for? Did you go vote to move the ball for your people, for our people? Did you vote to do that, or did you just do it because you were told to do it? What did you vote for? Well, I voted blue no matter who, because that's what I've been told to do, because, the Democrats are the party of Black people. It's like, well, anything that's for you would actually be for you, right? They would say, yeah, you know what? A horror has been exacted upon Black people in America for a very long time. And yeah, y'all been robbed of a whole lot of opportunities, land, money, education, you name it. You know what? If we're for you, let's go and write y'all a check, because we know it's going to take about 232 years to close the wealth gap. Let us give y'all this money that y'all so deserve, and then some. But if you're for somebody, you would make sure they're better off. But that's what they say, right? And we believe it.
No voting, no bucking.
Right. If you don't vote, a child, if they don't, this is what you're supposed to tell your man, or if you're Saucy Santana. If they not voting, then you ain't fucking them. I didn't say the F word, I said the B word. That's what they put out there. See, that's the kind of stuff we get. We get nonsense when it comes to guilt tripping us into voting. Child, if he ain't voting, don't fuck him. He don't give him none of the Putin nanny. If he got to make sure he going. Matter of fact, you don't give none to you. You see, he vote. It's like.
And then they bring out all of these broke ass, old ass rappers to do it. I mean, Trina's legendary. I mean, I've never been into that stuff, but it's just like, I mean, to me, if you saw that video, you saw the attitude of Black people. There's always going to be somebody willing to sell their soul and take a check and don't give the shit about us as a people. And these are the people that we need to leave here when we get ready to go back to the mainland.
Yes, indeed. And Robin said, Roland really thinks we're supposed to, or we're stupid to believe that the anti-Asian and Pacific Islander hate crime bill is for everyone. I can't believe he actually has subscribers. I mean, I can believe it because there's a lot of people out there, and this is what I say, and I believe this to be true about Roland Martin, that people fall to the appeal to authority because he has been seen as the one to go to for the news, right? He's got the pulse of the Black community, and he knows the ins and the outs. And now I would say some of that is partially true, but I think now he's exploiting the intelligence of Black people, and that he knows, for one, I'm not saying it's true about all of us, but there's a good deal of us who won't research it. Like, child, let me go and turn on Roland Martin today. He gonna tell us what to think. He gonna tell us the truth, right? Because he's so passionate about how he speaks and all of that. So all of that sounds true, but it's like he still cannot answer the question as, why do you want Black people to continue voting to get nothing specifically? Just to keep the Republicans out? That's not good enough anymore. Clearly, if you look at the race in Georgia between Herschel Walker and Ralph Warnock, that's not good enough, because look how close it is. Look how Stacey Abrams is getting her behind handed to her in the governor race.
Mm-hmm. But see, you don't know anything. I ran publishing companies for 6 publishing companies for years, and all this other stuff. And, I have all this experience and stuff like that. You don't know what's going on. What they really need to do is give more revenue dollars and give me the money so that I can go out there and keep that message out. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying?
I would just like to say that was Donovan. I like to stay above, board. And not call, even though Roland called me a bunch of names and stuff a bunch of times, I will not do that. I'm not going to stoop to his level. I'm going to,
I would.
I know. Pioneer says, I don't believe we should support either party, but I do believe we must vote. But we need to find our own candidate to run and put in office and vote for them. Now, I'm one of those people say definitely on the local level, vote for the party that has your interest at heart, especially Black people, because your city council, sheriffs, judges, and things like that, they directly have an effect on us. So yes, definitely go and do your research and vote on those offices. But just to go vote because somebody is a Democrat or even a Republican and you're not looking at the issues, I don't think that's how we should vote. I don't think too many people really vote like that as much as we do. I will say that. And Michael says, oh no, he's talking to Pioneer. Kiki says, I'm going to have to try tuning into the show from the YouTube side one evening. I joined as a member of the channel, just not over there like that. Well, come on over, girl. Blasphemy says, I got me a voting sticker. You did. And I'll be easy to do. He says, Tulsi Gabbard is a phony. She will say some good things and go back to bootlicking for the alt-right. Yes, I guess she denounced the Democrats now. I don't know. Tulsi was good for one thing, and that was nailing the nails in the coffin for Kamala during that debate. She was laughing and smoking weed, but, basically she got all the nerve and the audacity, right? And Leslie, how you doing? Says our ancestors didn't just die; they were murdered. Absolutely, and that's the other lie they tell us, that they just, nah, their lives were taken from us. A good point. Tell it like it is. He says our ancestors died for freedom long before there was a vote to cast. Okay.
Well. The funny thing is, if you guys follow my podcast, Black Politicians Ain't, I actually showed you a good example like John Lewis. When John Lewis passed away, you had all people coming out of the woodworks coming after me. But what did I say that was untrue? John Lewis. Now think about this. Our ancestors fought, people died to give us the right to go out there and move the race forward like other groups are doing right now. How can Asians come here from the 1970s? The majority of them came here after the Vietnam War, and they are now 8% of the population within 50 years. And our population is pretty much stagnant. Now, in regards to that, I showed how can you sit there and talk about I'm fighting for civil rights and oppression, and then you go join the oppressor? How come nobody remembers that? John Lewis spent more time working for Zaddy than he did working for us. And yet this man is an icon, and he did all this for Black people. And when I showed you his congressional record, he has nothing specifically for Black people, but he's for the Dreamers. He's for everybody else. He's giving reparations to Jews. He signs on to everything else. But when it comes to Black people, zilcho, nothing. All this stuff, you for Christ's sakes, you guys, you got smartphones. Look it up.
Absolutely. And Kiki says they don't want to close the wealth gap. They would take that would take away the main demographic of people that's providing their wealth. Like I said all of the time, Black people put the buffet on everyone else's plate while we get the crumbs, and barely the crumbs, right? So absolutely. And thank you, Bobby. I love and appreciate you for that. You said Democrats give Demetra, give Democrats the works. Love you, sister. Absolutely. And let's see here. Tell it like it is. Says, y'all, I ain't gonna call Roland names. Says Roland Martin is only good for giving restaurant reviews. I'm gonna keep reading. Y'all wilded. Yes, Donovan has missed his calling. He should have been an impersonator. I tell him that all the time. He does a great Kamala too, by the way. And let's see. Robin, he says, Roland even insulted Phil, said he don't see and know that fool. Yeah, it's like,
you don't see and know the fool, but yet you're acknowledging his existence. Come on.
I guess why I'm confused with Roland is, and I get it. I guess a lot of people give him that work, as y'all say. But it's like, why you got to call names for as smart as you are? You say you are. You don't have anything else in your vocabulary besides calling people names. And he got mad because I use the N-word, which I rarely do on here. I ain't gonna lie, I use it off of here. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I said he basically talked to me like an N-word off the street, and he blocked me, talking about, I do not tolerate that word. But it's like, you call people names all day long, you just ain't calling them the N-word. What's the difference? And you're supposed to be this big time Christian, but you rolling around calling people names? Like, okay. Let's see here. And Jimmy, yeah, y'all talking about rolling still. And Rainey, what's going on with you? Say that was good. Yeah, Donovan is really missed his calling. And Kimberly says, when voting, the lyrics of the great Janet Jackson should come to mind. Or it says, what have you done for me lately? Absolutely. Brother Sammy, how you doing? He says, greetings, D&D. I was proud of the way you handled that. All for self and aggrandizing Roland Martin. I lost respect for him a long time ago. He's all for Roland. Absolutely. I mean, you can't say that you're for black people, but then you keep telling black people to keep going to vote for more of nothing to get anywhere. Like, if you love your people, you're going to say, you know what? Yeah, I hear what y'all saying, Democratic Party, but it's time for our people to really get something out of this transaction. So if y'all want to use me, then y'all need to use me to actually help my people. But a lot of people don't do that, and it's unfortunate.
Well, I actually know that in the last election, I know I didn't do the things that I needed to do. But if you vote for me in the next election, I'm going to do a little bit better than what we need to do. And we'll see how it gets done. Obama gets in there. He gets reelected. When a president gets reelected, he ain't got to do shit because he can't run anymore. So then after he gets reelected and we give him our vote for the second time, he still didn't do nothing for black people, and so-called people that look like him, have skin like him, then had the audacity of hope, the audacity to say, if you want to secure my election, get out there and vote for Hillary because, Hillary is going to secure my election. I will be personally insulted if my legacy isn't secured by you.
Absolutely. Hello, one who cares. How are you doing? And let's see here. Jimmy James, you say Tulsi Gabbard is a globalist. She had a role in the World Economic Forum to recruit youth to the globalist agenda. Do tell. And be easy. You say Elijah Cummings is the same. All right. And Robin says, during the civil rights movement is when black folks started fighting for the rights to vote. Black folks weren't thinking about voting during Jim Crow and slavery. They were trying to stay alive. Yeah, that's true. They were thinking about voting. However, especially back then, they were, sometimes being taken out of here for doing that. So they were thinking about it, but they were kind of scared to do it too. You know what I mean? You Donovan, you crazy, talking about can you wobble, talking about Roland and Hillary. Pioneer says many of you won't agree with this, but in my opinion, if one black man or woman gets in office, even if they do nothing for the rest of their community, if they do no harm, it's still a plus. I don't agree with that because white people, Asian people, Hispanics or whatever, when they put people in office, they expect for them to go do something for them. They don't just let their people linger forever and ever and ever and not do nothing for them. And they don't say, well, they ain't doing nothing good, but they ain't doing nothing bad, so we gonna leave them. Not saying this about you, Pioneer, but I'm saying in general, we're the only group of people that do that. We got Maxine Waters and, Sheila Jackson Lees and all them in office 20, 30, 40 years, just, straddling the fence, or they're helping everybody else. But it's like, well, everybody else ain't, predominantly putting you in office. It's us. But yet you won't do nothing specifically for your people. And so I don't think we should have that ideology. As long as you do no harm, you're okay. I don't like that, Pioneer, but I love you though. And John Ivory Wheeler, how are you doing? He says, I live in Boston, Massachusetts, and our governor's race is coming up. Both people are the worst. So even vote in the local election, you may still be voting against our people's interests. Yeah. And you know what? Unfortunately, that's true in a lot of races. Take that of Joe Biden and Trump, for example. That was truly the lesser of two evils. But if you feel like you need to vote, I'm not telling you not to. But if you look at their track record and look at it from a standpoint of, if you're black, I think you are because I can't hardly see your thing. Look at the track record as far as what have they done for black people. And then, go from there. Demetrius, how are you doing? It says Roland Martin. Yeah, wow. He said he looks like a chipmunk. I'm not reading those comments. Pioneer says, I want black politicians to help us when they get in office, but even if they don't, as long as they don't harm us in any way, then at least that's one black man or woman with the job. Now, we need to have a little bit more expectations on them than that. Bobby says, I will never vote again until we get the right candidate. Until then, I will not be voting. And that goes from federal to local governments. And you know what? That is your right to do so. DSB says he blocked me a long time ago. Yeah, I'm learning that. And Roland's got a strong block game. Mikey says that part, Demetra, the name calling is childish. Yeah, I just try really hard not to participate in that, although it does sound appealing sometimes. And Brother Samuel says Donovan sounded like Yosemite Sam in Mocking Roland. Lord have mercy. And Michael, you said, Donovan, please mention my Black agenda to the audience because I will offer and fight for a Black agenda. Yes, indeed. And Pioneer says Obama all the way. And Marty says, Donovan, have you heard of the bill S490 being introduced in California to stop people from being able to buy herbal supplements because of the lying senator's white passing after claiming deaf mulberry? Hello, Monet. How are you? So you haven't heard of it? I haven't heard of it either, Monet. And Pioneer says, see, Donovan, I didn't even need to tell you to tell me you were doing an Obama impression. You did it so well. Laugh out loud. Yes, Donovan is really good. Rain says, Roland loves his bit. I'm gonna let y'all read those comments. DSB says, well, I bet he feels insulted now, and I don't give a damn. Thank you so much, Mr. Mobley. I appreciate that. And welcome to the chat. And Kiki said, Donovan has me rolling on the floor, laughing my butt off. I'm sorry. And Pioneer says, Demetra is always, oh, thank you. Glowing and glistening, laugh out loud, but she's doing it more now since coming back from the Dominican Republic. That's been since, what, April? Maybe, I don't know. I was horrified and terrified over there, but maybe something happened I don't know about.
Wait, and a real quick side note: the Haitians, and isn't it funny how the news networks aren't covering this? The Haitians in the United Nations right now, they are trying to do a resolution to go into Haiti again and restore order. The Haitians, I think it was last week or the week before, led a peaceful protest telling all of the Western nations in the UN, take the big finger. We don't want you here. We're going to solve our own problems because you guys are coming here with no solutions. This is a Black nation now that is seeing that we can't depend on Zaddy to solve our problems. And so they would rather live in a country that has no central government, and it's basically the wild, wild west, to solve their problems. They are not going to let the UN and the Western powers come in again and rape their women and do the things that they were doing when they were down there, the Clinton Foundation and all that stuff, and make all that money and buy all that land and destroy their crops so they can't be self-sufficient. And they're not reporting on that. And if you notice, Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, who cares so much about Black people, are doing nothing in regards to dark-skinned people. But let it be Hispanics of white descent and all these other groups, Afghans and all that other stuff, the borders are wide open.
Hello, don't hate, I'm right. How are you? Says, who are we supposed to vote for? If we vote for the right, it means the end of rights that we have caught so far, so hard for, I'm sorry. They are literally trying to take us back before 1950.
Let me answer that real quick, and it's a quick answer. You have a president that has executive order that's a Democrat. You have the Democrats in charge of both houses of Congress. What is stopping them right now for codifying and reversing the Supreme Court decision and codifying it into law? The Democrats seem to be like, oh, well, we tried.
So I'll leave it at that with Donovan. And and Kiki says, yes, I heard about that going on in Haiti. Yes, there's a lot going on. From what I understand, there's and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. They being Canada and United States are saying that the gangs are rogue over there and out of control. And so of course they're sending weapons and help so they can try to stabilize, which is kind of weird, trying to stabilize what's going on over there. But they're saying that the gangs are actually stopping the humanitarian effort in regards to fighting the cholera, the disease that's going on. I guess you can get it from bad drinking water and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So the gangs are stopping the effort, but it's like there's so much going to unpack there, honestly.
Right. And what they're not telling you is they're giving the guns to the gangs. See, that's what they're not saying. The Canadians are destabilizing, the Western powers are destabilizing the situation because the government, the national police there already have weapons. They've already have weapons. So how are these gangs getting these military style weapons? They're getting it from somewhere, from the Western powers to destabilize, a basically nation gentrification.
Absolutely. And hello, Alexander. If I didn't say to you verbally, says Obama was the was far best, the far best of the rest presidents that American will ever have. No one could get to where he is and sees the world for what it is. He was damn good at keeping peace. This is needed. I think Obama should rerun for the president job again.
Please answer that. He's saying that Obama was good for peace. Please answer that.
Well, I think the question is good at keeping peace for what and to protect who? If we're indeed seeing him as a peacemaker, I would say that is true. But I think Obama was good at keeping Black people at bay because, you know, as we always talk about, and as I said, it's not an original idea. It was that of Ann Coulter. Obama talked about the hope and change thing. Remember, he was always talking about hope and change, hope and change. Well, Ann Coulter, who was an extreme racist on the right, you know, she says, but Obama never defined what hope and change was. But especially we as Black people, we fell for the, hope and change, or hope and change you could believe in. But if you ask anybody, what did that mean? We didn't know. And so Obama was good at keeping the peace, as you said, but it was also based off of an illusion that since I'm in office, everything is good, Black people. We've even heard Mitch McConnell say, well, hell, you got your reparations when Obama got into office. And so the peace that we saw as far as Black people in America was definitely an illusion. But if you ask other people around the world, Obama was not that peaceful. Think about Gaddafi. Who else did he take out? Osama bin Laden. When we know, you know, he was friends with the U.S. government before then. So it's like, it depends on who you ask.
Did he not continue the Afghan wars and the Iraqi wars? And in the summer uprising in Egypt, all of these things that were happening under Obama. So I'm not saying, you know, that person couldn't have their opinion, but I think your opinion is not based on fact. He was one of the most militant Democrats we have had in a long time. You know, how do you down George W. Bush for illegally going into a country and decimating it and then illegally invading Afghanistan? And then you continue the same policies, if not more. And because of Obama and Hillary Clinton's State Department, they go in and murder a leader of a sovereign country and then take the oil. Come on now.
Yes, indeed, Lilia. And if I didn't already, how are you doing? And let's see here. And D-Staff, how are you doing? I'm reading the comments. I'm trying to really gauge where you're going with them, but I'm going to wait and see. And once again, how you doing? I'm not going to read that comment because it's like, I don't know if you see it, Donovan, but I want to address it, but then I don't want to address it because, forgive me, I'm sweating. I think one of the problems that we have as Black people is we focus on the wrong stuff. You know what I mean? Out of all this good ass information we got going on here, you choose to be ignorant. That's all I'm gonna say about it. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna say nothing else, but let me move on. Kimberly, you say, because usually when the United Nations come in and the U.S. Under democracy is usually a guise for oppressing the people and stealing the resources of the land. There you go. Like, y'all ain't been interested in Haiti, but all of a sudden y'all want to go and help. It's like, that's why I said that to say that they want to go help stabilize what's going on is like, well, when was Haiti ever stable? In the last 20 years plus? When has it ever been stable? But again, that's how they get us emotionally.
Right. And then under the Clinton administration, a Democratic administration, they took away Haiti's ability to feed its own people by giving them genetically modified seeds so that they can't produce rice and stuff. And now they're dependent on rice from other countries, most likely, in most cases, United States. Look this stuff up, you people. It will tell you at one time, if a country cannot feed its own people, then they're dependent on outside sources. The same group of people that feed you are the same people that can starve you. And this is one of the problems that's going on in Haiti. That happened under a Democratic administration. And even Bill Clinton himself, there is a video, go on YouTube. He apologized for what they did.
Absolutely. Let me go back to this and I'll come back to you, Moni. And Lee, and how you doing? It says no black country needs anything from the West, period, regardless of what they have going on. I totally agree because we know it's going to be in the form of a Trojan horse. So let's just keep it real. And Moni says, I totally agree. Neither party is going to do any good. But what I will say is talking on the same thing day in, day out of these Democrats and Republicans is nerve-wracking. Election 11/8/22. Let's see. Absolutely.
Yes, but here's the thing, Moni, my love. We have to talk about these things because if we do not, people will continue to vote in a way that's detriment to our race and to our people, to where, you know what, at this point, if we don't talk about it and we are not aware, we might as well rip up the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment and just walk ourselves into chains and walk into the fields and start plucking cotton, peanuts, marijuana, whatever else is out there.
I'm gonna go back here. And hello, Albi. And Pioneer says, I don't understand this madness. Is there some sort of parallel universal, I think it meant universe, some of y'all live in where Trump did all of this stuff for black people that I don't know about? Well, again, I mean, I'm not telling you, I'm not big upping Trump. I did not vote for Trump. I would not like to vote for Trump, but if that's who it's going to be, Biden and Trump, I don't want any more Biden. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? And that's just got to keep it real, especially would not like to vote for a person who says, you know, I got y'all back because y'all have mine, which we knew he was lying, and he just completely showed us his whole behind as, you know, doing for everybody else. So. Right.
And here's my thing with Trump, and I'm not a Trump supporter either, but let's be fair. We have to be fair. You got to call it fair. He did start I'm just going to name one thing. He did start the First Step Act, right? Of prison reform. No other. Name me anything that Obama did, a black president did for black people. Name me what Joe Biden did for black people. Name me what, you know, we can go back and back and back. You know, we got to be fair about it. He didn't do a lot, but that one thing that he did do was more than any other Democratic president has done for black people outright.
Yes, indeed. And Bakari says it's disgusting how blind our people are to the actions of this country. Yeah, I mean, it's just at this point, it's willful. And I'm scared to say this. I ain't going to say it. I don't get myself in trouble. I ain't going to say it. I'm going to be quiet. That's what I've learned lately is to shut my two lips when I don't need to say stuff. I'm going to be quiet. But I totally agree with you. And Kimberly, absolutely. You said wars make money. And Rain says, not in Libya, Obama murdered their leader. Absolutely. But yet, you know, there's that peace we talk about, right? And obvious truth, how you doing? It says Obama was king of drone strikes. Yep. Tuesday Watkins, how you doing? It says greetings, my brothers and sisters.
And if we're talking about Obama real quick, look at the number in the 8 years that Obama was in office. Look statistically, I don't care wherever you look at it, at how much black wealth was lost under the Biden administration and how many millionaires were made in the white community in the Obama administration. These are just facts. Black people lost a significant amount of wealth under President Obama. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it was because of the 2008 Trump housing crisis and stuff like that. Remember, Obama approved $700 and something billion to bail out the banks and all this other stuff and didn't hold any of the bank people accountable. So guess what? You don't hold the bank people accountable. All of those unfair foreclosures that happened, Obama didn't hold anybody responsible. And most of those foreclosures happened to black people. Black people as a group, we lost over a third of our wealth under the Obama administration. Fact.
Ricky Jones, how you doing? Says this is not rocket science to hold your vote for tangibles and reparations for our people. I agree. Like, I don't understand why that's such a hard concept. I mean, if we would have done that a long time ago, I think we'd be far better off. I mean, that's just my opinion. And Leslie says Clintons were there and robbed them blind of resources. Even money that was allotted to build apartments for them was siphoned, and they only built a small fraction of what was supposed to be built. Absolutely.
A true story. When I was in the Dominican Republic, I took a plane with a buddy of mine and we flew to the northern side of Haiti. The Clinton Foundation has a resort and golf center that was built with some of that money that you guys donated to help the Haitians rebuild their country and stuff. In the northern province of Haiti, there is a major resort that was built that looks nothing like Port-au-Prince and all the destruction and the craziness that's going on in Haiti right now.
Yes, indeed, ADOS Dan. We have to vote strategically and welcome. And Bakari says Slavic means slaves, and I'm a Moor, sir. Okay. And Don says the U.S. are parasites. That's why they went into Haiti, because of gold deposits discovered. Yeah, they not going over there just for the fruity drinks with umbrellas, you know. And Michael says, sure, that Trump cut taxes for business owners, but the tax cuts are temporary for working and middle class people. Aren't they always? Blasphemy. Thank you so much. You say,
okay.
No, you say he hit them with the pump fake.
Exactly. And then remember, the Bush tax cuts were made permanent under who? Obama could have vetoed that. But guess what? He approved it. The Democrats approved permanent tax cuts that the Bush administration at the time was a record tax break for the rich.
I like that book too, D Staff. That's one of my favorite books, The Alchemist. Yes, indeed. So we do agree on something. If y'all haven't checked it out, I impress upon you to check out The Alchemist. It will definitely change your life. And ADOS Danny says in some states you can leave the presidential option blank. Don't vote red or blue people. Yep, you can do that. In some cases, you can even write in candidate. I know in California, people wrote in Miss Piggy, Hello Kitty, whole bunch of other Harambe was even on there. Y'all remember the gorilla that y'all know the story. Black American says the First Step Act was only for federal inmates, which is a very minute population of the prison system. That is true. And anytime the president does something on a bill like that, it's on the federal level. So we know that something like that would have more of an effect on a state level.
Right, but okay, and I hear you. Whoever said that, who said that comment?
Black America. Okay,
Black America. See, and this is what we're talking about. And I'm not like trying to be disrespectful or anything. If we know anything about how the government works, anything a president does is on the federal level, right? So compare him to any other president that had the same exact power. He still did more than any other president that was out there. And this is the misinformation. And me and Demetra and I were talking about this earlier, how we use accounting tricks to deflect facts. Oh, there's more white people on welfare than there is black people. Well, yeah, when there's 57% of the population and we're only 13, yes, that is true. But within their demographic, only 30% of them are on some form of welfare. So if we're in our 13%, if the welfare thing is, let's say, I believe we have more than half of our population is on some sort of assistance. So who's lying and who's telling the truth? There are more black people in our demographic that is on welfare compared to the white population. That's what we're talking about. So when you put out information like that, it's like you're kind of helping the Democratic Party and Zaddy spread misinformation, and people go with that because it sounds like it makes sense, because a lot of people don't know how government works.
Absolutely. Alexander, he says, while under Obama's care, he did keep the peace in America and less gun crime going off when, I think you mean, Trump was in power. There was white cops shooting at your own people. I know it was wrong after I seen George Floyd murdered in cold blood by a white and racist cop. I condemn the action, and Trump sat there, has nothing here to say, and tried allowing that cop off with the murder. If that was under Obama care, he would not been doing that to another human being. It shocked me first time American cops. Well, I mean, I see the correlation from Trump to Obama, but I mean, there were more, I would say, the uptick of black people murdered under Obama.
Didn't Trayvon Martin happen and Sandra Bland under Obama?
Also, with the Trayvon Martin thing, he says Mostly all he said was, if I had a black son, I would be afraid or whatever, in regards to Trayvon Martin. But I mean, there's a lot of things that Obama could have done. He didn't do it either. So, you know what I mean? So, but I hear what you're saying, but Obama wasn't that much better off. And in Pioneer, I saw you said that the Proud Boys and things like that came about under Trump. Yeah, I would say they came out under Trump. But to say that, they were just like the KKK or the Proud Boys were new because Trump was in office, they just felt a little bit more emboldened. So I will concede that point, but they weren't created, if you will. White supremacy wasn't created because Trump came into office. And let's see here. Dude, how you doing? It says, never forget Biden left our troops in Afghanistan to die, then use American military planes to bring I'm not laughing because it's funny, but just that you said that, to bring Afghan terrorists to the United States. Ooh, I hope not. But yes, I definitely hear what you're saying. And Debbie, how you doing? It says, preach, y'all. And Leslie says, Trump signed a bill to give $250 million a year to HBCUs, and Biden rescinded it in his first week in office. Yes, was it like $5 to $2 billion? And I think actually the number was something, I could be wrong, 55 billion. Then it dwindled down to like 2 billion, give or take. And then it was to include indigenous schools as well. So there's that. Sean, how you doing? And Pioneer says, Donovan, facts, Black folks lost a lot of wealth and poverty under Obama. Most of the Black folks who are homeless today got that way under Obama, most of them. Yes, indeed. And Moni, you say, Donovan, you make a very good point. California is one of the first states that make a lot of extreme different laws. Some have benefited Blacks and some times not. So the worst is the racist Hispanics. Okay, so I'm going to skip down just a little bit so I can kind of catch up a little bit so I don't get behind us. Yeah, and Michael, if I didn't already, how are you? He says, Haiti can't be self-sufficient. Haiti is still paying off its debt, its perpetuity. Absolutely.
No, that's not true. Haiti paid off their debt.
Well, I'm saying in regards to, back to what I was saying about it, it's stabilizing, because I guess we can all agree that Haiti is not stable. So yeah, they might have paid off their debt, but what has it gotten them?
Well, when I say they paid off their debt, they recently paid it off within the last 5 years. It ain't like, and when a country does that, it ain't like all of a sudden they're prosperous. It's going to take some time.
Right. But so that's what I'm saying. I mean, but to say we're going over there to help Haiti is like, you should have been doing that before it even got to this point. You know what I mean? Because you helped them get in that situation. So Pioneer says, hey, what are the chances of Professor Black Truth getting an interview on Demetra K show? Will he show his face?
Okay. All right. The Pioneer kind of called me out last year. I'm the Black Authority. I'm gonna give him rolling that work. I'm gonna give him that work.
I know you might be. Well, if will he show his face? I don't know. DSB says the whole 8 years Obama was in office, he was stuck on that same come together BS. Meanwhile, he sat by and did nothing. When cops killed us in the streets under his administration, absolutely. Skip on down here. Tell it like it is. It says you teach people how to treat you, and what Black folks taught the Democratic Party was that. They can play with us to the left with no recourse. Play us to the left with no recourse. Yep, absolutely. And let's move right along. Let's see who else is on here. Kimberly says, no bankers that I know of went to prison for the housing market failure that I know of. Keeping in mind this period was from 2007 to 2013. Think of how many people were homeless. Absolutely no bankers did. They got a little bit of slap on the wrist and they got bailed out. You know what I mean? And Dial Tony says, tread lightly. And Darius, how you doing? Says, for 500 years plus. Yes, indeed. And Aeon, I hope I said that right. How are you doing? Says, so how do you guys feel about Stacey Abrams and her stance on inflation in regards to deletion of our unborn people? I sometimes think when I see these candidates that give interviews, it's like, did your people train you to say that? Or was you just kind of like on the hot seat a little bit and you just, it's like jumping into a double dutch and you did it too soon and you got messed up. It's like, because, wow, tell us that you are for eugenics without telling us you're for eugenics. You know what I mean? It was just kind of, okay. But yes, she's out there Watusian and everything like that this weekend with Black people. Is like, well, per your stance, if you were elected years ago, some of these people wouldn't even be here. Part of the way you were thinking, so.
I mean, a woman saying exactly that one of the main reasons Black women are in poverty is because of the kids that they have. And it's been proven that when families are created, the economy and the countries do better.
Yes. And I'm gonna go back here. And Tyrone, how you doing? He says, "What percentage would Brett Favre fall under?" And if I know what that's in regards to. So if you can give it a little bit more detail, we'd love to try to answer that. Pioneer says, just like the student loan thing, if Biden really wanted to erase student loan debt, he'd do it by executive order. Yeah, it's like he's done everything else. But give y'all a little bit. Let's see what y'all do with that. It's like, come on, man, really. And Michael says, Black people should receive tax cuts, but white people and others should pay higher taxes. Well, people who are making a lot more money, should definitely pay their fair share. And Robin says there was more police brutality under the Obama administration. That is true, but I don't know why people like to skirt that fact. It's weird to me, but maybe people just don't know. So.
Well, and let me add to that. Let's use our common sense. Why wouldn't there be more violence under the Obama administration? You have a Black president that never had happened before, and white people lost their shit.
That is true. Tell it like it is. He said Trump ripped off the mask and showed how this country truly is. Yeah, so they weren't hiding, or it wasn't new. They were kind of hiding, and yeah, they felt emboldened. Like, yeah, Trump is giving us permission, I guess, to be racist out loud. And there it is. And a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have gone back into the closet. But would you rather know who your racists are, or would you want them to go back and hide? I don't know. And let's see, Pioneer says there was much more general racist violence against Black folks under Trump, whether by the police or civilians. No, it didn't start under him, but it was emboldened by under his administration. So
absolutely, that is correct. That is absolutely correct.
Yep, and Rain says these folks caping for Obama is definitely not American Blacks. A lot, but you'd be surprised, a lot of them are. Leslie says wide open borders and possible World War III. You talk about that's where we are now. Of course, a lot of those Republican governors are like, yeah, put them on a plane or on a bus and send them to the Democratic states. Them being, they call them the migrants for some reason, but send them over there. And yes, Dial Tone, Haiti does need to be fixed. Studios, how you doing? He says Haiti is being plundered by the U.S. Exactly. Now they sending help. So they say, right? And Kiki says anything pertaining to Black people, Biden wants to include someone else or nothing at all, just like pertaining to reparations. He wants Native Americans included. That man wants to do nothing exclusively for Black people. And I'm not sure why many Black people can't see that, because they believe the excuse is, well, he's the president of everybody. He can't just do anything just for Black people. And when he is doing stuff for Black people, it's like,
why don't they have that energy for Trump when Trump is in office, or a racist president? They can say that when it's a Democratic president that's racist, but you have a racist Republican president and all of a sudden he's the devil. I lose it at that point.
Yes, Rain says, really, Demetri, he has to show his face. I'm joking. I don't know if he would interview with me, but wouldn't y'all want to see who y'all talking to? I guess sometimes, cause it's very few times I make a video and don't show my face, and that's probably because I'm busted or something like that. I'm like, I don't feel like really even doing all that today. So I might do a voiceover. It's rare, but I don't know. Wouldn't y'all want to see who y'all talking to, or who's talking to y'all? I'm just asking. I'm asking. I'm not trying to start any problems. I'm just asking. Pioneer Brother Donovan, I said you were Professor Black Truth. Laugh out loud. Not the Black Authority. I don't know if you can even sound like Jason Black. That's a hard one. And Bobby, he says, if you remember back in the day before we had the right to vote, it seems like we were doing better. We were trying to build our own economy, but they have given us a culture that has destroyed us. You better believe it. Hello, Brother Jonelle. How are you doing today? Dusty Hotep, how you doing? Says one thing I've learned, there is power in the shadows. Absolutely. Or perceived. There's power and there's perceived power. So absolutely. Rain said desperation. And Kimberly says Obama, aka the Trojan horse. I would agree with that. Mr. Pirate Brain, how you doing? And Catherine, how are you doing? He says without their script, they are useless. Laugh out loud. And who is they, if you don't mind me asking? And Black First is, I think that's how you say it. How you doing? It says, I wonder if Stacey had given enough thought before giving the comments. I would say this. I would imagine it's hard to kind of interview. Maybe I would think they maybe know what they're going to be asked, but I don't know. That was just kind of really weird to me to tie inflation to deleting our young, unborn babies. And it's like, if she does any research, she knows that disproportionately affects Black babies. So why would you advocate for that to fix inflation? What does that sound like? Eugenist. That was their ideology. Let's get rid of the burden on society, Black people, and anybody else we deem to be unworthy. And that was by Planned Parenthood and all those type of things. And here she is repeating those same things. It's like, wow. And you want Black people to show up to vote for you? Okay.
That's right, girl power. It don't matter, vote blue, no matter who. That's a Black woman. We gonna get her in office. Ski-wee. We're the backbone of the Democratic Party.
Okay. Black American says a family does not consist just of a Black woman and kids. There needs to be a Black man or some kind of man there also. I totally agree with you. And Studio says, not true. White people voted for Obama. Yeah, we didn't say that they didn't, but we know that mostly Black voters voted for Obama. It's just a fact. And Robin says, Stacey is for deletion rights, but is also for open borders. Shouldn't we be increasing our numbers? It's a no for me. I'm reference to, he says, I'm reference to Stacey Abrams. Yeah, it's like you said, you're okay with open borders, more people coming on here, putting a burden on the economy, but then you're okay for, the deletion of babies, which will, disproportionately be more of our babies. But the other thing is, they know a lot of us won't connect the dots like you just did. Some people say, child, she is telling the truth.
Right. But then again, let's connect the dots with that. Here's a woman that doesn't have any kids for some particular reason, and she's telling you or us that deletion is an option and the reason why you are in poverty, you're bringing in, whatever. So I look at stuff like that, like, well, here's a woman who ain't got no kids. So what is she talking about?
Right. Kiki says, Donovan, do you see the housing situation of 2007, 2008 happening again? Someone says months back that they see that happening again.
Oh, absolutely. The signs of it is already happening with these people being evicted. It's starting to happen because eventually these rents are going up and up and up. If all these people are being evicted and they don't have money, how are they going to buy homes? So yeah, the crescendo is about to happen.
And I think so too. And I've read reports on saying that, yes, even Elon Musk was like, yeah, it's about to go down and it'll probably take place all the way through almost 2025. A lot of businesses will close. And so, yeah, it's a lot of economists said that it is going to get rough. I mean, the housing market it's coming down a little bit, but these rents are just stupid, ridiculous. Just stupid, just outrageous. You know what I mean? In most places, the rents are more than what people make in a month. They would need 2 and 3 other people to live there with them to even live comfortably. So it's crazy. And Jimmy, if I didn't already, how you doing? It says, still trying to see how Trump is racist when Biden, Robert Byrd, Sean Thurman made that crime bill. Well, I think all of those things could be true. I think Trump is a little racist. I don't think Trump is as racist as he is made out to be. I think he knows how to. He's a salesman at the end of the day. I think he knows how to feed red meat to his base, and he knows exactly what to say to gin up the mob, per se, just like he did on January 6th, where he said he didn't really do it, but he did it. He knows exactly what to do. He's an opportunist, and he used racism as the meat, if you will, to do it. He was a Democrat his whole life, and then he turned over to the Republicans because he was like, I see a void there. Let me go on and just put that on out there and feed this red meat to the racists, and so I can get what I needed. And Trump, he said it. I can go into the middle of the street and kill somebody and get away with it. And he's right. And so let's see here. Dalton says, if you get 40 acres in a Tesla, I get 80 acres and a rocket ship. I'll take the Tesla. And Andre, he says, John Lewis, Cummings, Kanye, Rango, Waters, Jackson Lee, and Clyburn. Yep. All been in there for a lot of years, not doing anything specifically for their people. Kimberly says Donovan got me thinking he is Professor the Truth now. I think even Black Truth. That's funny. And Black First is, you say, Joe and or Don don't. You said need to be getting around to doing the cutting some checks. You know, either one of them. They cut checks for Black people. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. If y'all here, if y'all can hit the like button, I would love and appreciate you for that. Rain says Stacey Abrams is wow. He says she is an ugly baby. I would have done the right thing. Okay. And Studio says Trump was actually the least racist president. And really, it's all a matter of opinion. Yeah, if you look at policy, I would totally agree with you on that. I would. In regards to that of Biden, I totally agree with you. That bar none, you know. And let's see here. World views. If I didn't already, I think I said hello, but hello again. You say exactly. And Tawana says, remember Richard Pryor in The Wiz? Absolutely. And that's why I was saying perceived power. The man behind the curtain was perceived power. The Wizard of Oz is a little old man pulling strings and buttons. So, very good analogy. And Pamela says, Stacey must think her name is Margaret or Margaret Sanger. And our Studio, you say, if Stacey Abrams said that about inflation, then Trump is not racist, period. Well, two things could be true. She could say that and be a eugenist, and he could be racist. I mean, so I don't think we necessarily need to always participate or it could be both, right? And young, handsome, 34, okay. How you doing? He says, I love this dude. And DSB says, dial tone sounds like a troll. Okay, well, we're gonna look and see. Yes, Rain Donovan is very talented. And be first, you say, thank you for reading more. So thank you for feedback. Salute. Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. And Alexander says, I thank you for educating me on the right spot. All news documentaries that we've seen on mainstream media and news aren't always truthful when it comes to the fake news spreading. So thank you once again for putting me in the right direction. You know, it's our pleasure. We're not always right. We learn a lot from y'all. We actually learn more from y'all than I would say y'all learn from us. So this channel, we really like to bounce ideas off of each other. That's why we like that when we have a conversation. I don't consider y'all followers or viewers. I consider you guys a third co-host because it's a conversation that needs to be had because everybody has great ideas. So I appreciate you for that comment. LS, how you doing? Says Donovan, stop disrespecting Black girl magic. Sister girl, damn gon' get you laugh out loud.
No, what it is, I'm not really trying to disrespect Black girl magic. I need y'all to use that some magic on it so you can help our people. What are y'all waiting for?
LS says, you wowed. Evicted by Ralph Warlock. He said Warlock. Yeah, he's been accused of evicting people out of his, I guess, apartment building that he owns for sometimes $30. It's like.
But remember, he denied it at the debate. Hey, I ain't evicting nobody. Ain't nobody being evicted. And then I think a couple of days later, Herschel Walker actually showed up at that place and showed that people were actually being evicted. So the problem, Georgia, is this. You've got a pro-choice pastor, which makes no sense and goes against the Bible. So if you're a Christian or whatever you are, that makes no sense. He's a pro-choice pastor that never answers a direct question. And you have Herschel Walker, who has CTE and is obviously, under some kind of head trauma. Those are your choices. And I'll be honest with you guys. I hope Herschel wins. I really do.
And Debbie, how you doing? Says I lost my home under Obama predatory lending situation. Yeah, and that's what happened to our people. The stated loans and all of that. And then the balloon payments came. It was just a mess. It was definitely predatory lending as to why a lot of us lost the homes. And I know a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't have signed those loans and blah, 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 blah. But it was called predatory lending for a reason, because a lot of those lenders, they said, oh, I know you're working at, not saying you, Debbie, but I'm saying, for example, I know you're working at Taco Bell, but we're going to put that you actually making this kind of money so you can get the house. But they were only looking at the commission that was in it for them. And, a lot of these corporations, banks and things like that, Countrywide is no longer here. They made a lot of money doing that to our people. And it actually wiped out a lot of generational wealth for our people.
Now I want you to think about what you just said, Demetra. When you lie on a bank statement, like they're telling about Trump inflating his assets and lowering his assets to get more leverage from the bank, that's a crime, right? If the bankers were doing that themselves, why weren't they prosecuted? No, they rather prosecute the victim rather than the criminal. Malcolm X said that 60 years ago. They make the victim the criminal and the criminal the victim. And Obama let it slide.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely true. No one went to jail for doing that to people, but they took your houses, though. They didn't say, well, we're going to give you a break. They had some programs they tried to help, but most people I know that tried to qualify for those programs to save your home, it didn't work.
No, it was too late. A lot of them, the homes were already in the process. It was done. It was too late.
And then a lot of people paid different, outside organizations to help them save the house, and they lost more money and didn't get their house saved. So it was an absolute mess. And then Jimmy, you say, please look up Judge Joe Brown on Trump on YouTube. I think you meant. Okay, yeah, I've seen his stances on Trump. Unless he says J6 still wasn't in an insurrection. Says check Sri Lanka, I'm sorry, last year for that. Okay. Studio says Trump did nothing on January 6th. Biden cheated the election, and we all saw how they cheated. Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that Trump gave them the signal to go do what they did. I mean, I don't think we need to, I don't think we need to carry on. Was there some cheating? Yeah, there's probably some cheating, but to the degree that they were alleging, Trump just did not want to go. I think that was the kind of the long and the short of it. All right, so let's see. Let me move on down. And Jocelyn, how you doing? Said that he's a businessman. Absolutely, he's talking about Trump. And Bobby said this dude is too funny. I can listen to this guy all day. He crazy. And Monty says, Roland is nothing but a lion, raccoon, a standard UTC. So why even feed off into it? He's gonna say whatever he knows he's in the wrong. When it goes to hell, you'll have to pay for that. Yeah, but we can see that some of the things he's saying is wrong, and I think it's only right for us to say, well, there's a different story to what you've been told, right? I think for those of us who know better, I think it should be our duty to also be informational and giving the other side of the conversation. Yes, DSB Donovan could be a great comedian, and he says speaks truth and facts, and he makes you laugh at the same time. Absolutely. Pioneer says some racists you can negotiate with, you can even do business with, but others care nothing about your money and just want to harm you and your children. You have to know who you're dealing with. I agree with that. And Melanin on Code, how are you doing? Peace to you as well. And let's see here. Shirley, if I didn't already, how you doing? It says, if more Black women are in poverty with children, this do not give anyone the right to tell them not to have or delete Black babies. I totally agree with you. And the other thing is, instead of deleting Black babies, why not just put the resources in our neighborhood to help us take care of our babies? Nobody wants to think about that, though, huh?
Right.
You have to give money to Planned Parenthood, but you don't want to give that money to our neighborhood to help us take care of our people.
And actually, we need to start making more babies, because you can't get a majority vote in a country that is so-called democratic if you don't have the numbers. I'm not saying go out here willy-nilly and just have babies and just have them. Let's get back to our families. Ladies, stop saying you don't need men. Men, stop treating women the way that is very negative. We need each other. This is the message we got to do. What I am willing to drop what has been said in the past, because I see the writing on the wall for us as a people. Hey, we need each other. Black women, we need you. We need you. We need you to make these babies. We need you to be a center of the community again and do what it is so that we can be the great people we're supposed to be, period.
I agree with you, but I ain't in the business of making babies no more. So I can, in spirit, be with y'all, okay?
Well, you can always practice.
I could, but the way my morals are set up. Thundy says, when the Dems lose this midterm, how harshly do you believe they will come at us? And if they do, what tactics do you think they'll use? I don't see, nothing is guaranteed. If they'll lose, I don't know. But let's say they do. I think they will definitely place blame on us, but I think they should really be thinking, okay, what can we do next time to get the Black people back on board. Like, obviously we failed them and they've showed us that we failed them. So now we have to, if we're going to go back to them, we have to go back with something they actually can use, in order to get back on board. So, but again, we should have did that a long time ago. But I'm sure they'll play the blame game, like they tried to blame black men and all of that. So yes, indeed. And Mr. Pybrain says Herschel Walker won that debate hands down. I totally agree with you. And I think he won it on style more than substance, if that makes any sense. And a studio says, but Herschel Walker made the greatest stump speech I ever heard the other day. So how can he have CTE? So I didn't hear that, but I did see where he stood outside of those apartments he even offered to help pay some of the people's rent and things like that. Tanaya, how you doing? Long time no see. Says, well, did they pay the full rent? And to those renters, how many times were you late or no payment? Folks have to realize it's a business, not personal. So, I mean, I agree with that as well. But it sounds like some of that was going on during the pandemic too. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But I guess, the pushback with Ralph Warnock is, well, you're a Democrat, so you're supposed to be for the people. You're a reverend, and you're supposed to help people. And so it's like, you're putting people out for $30. Okay, yeah, I can get it. If somebody owed a whole bunch of money and they were just not paying their rent, okay, yeah, you got to go. But $30? You surely cannot be that hard for money. I mean, it sounds like you're making a great living off the church and being a senator. So I don't know. Y'all tell me. Maybe I'm wrong. And Pamela says, and Wells Fargo is the last place Black families should go for anything. I totally agree. Bank of America too, even though it sounds like they got some program out there. Pioneer says, another thing I like about this show besides Demetra, oh, thank you. Says Pretty Face is her voice. Oh, my voice, okay. Says it's unique and distinct, and I can recognize it when she's speaking on other channels. So you've heard me say some things that I shouldn't have been saying, huh? I'm just playing. Michael says, if I run for office and when I would implement the following policies for Black America: 1, cash reparations within 20 days. I like that. Freedom for prisoners with a check within 110 days, etc. Okay, you talking some good stuff. And Ray says, Herschel Walker won hands down. Yes, indeed. LS says, third co-host. I like Demetra. I got your lunch next time you in the ATL. Okay, I'm going to hit you up next time I drive through there or I stop through there.
A girl got to eat.
Oh, don't get Donovan started on that, please. Don't get Donovan started on the girls gotta eat theory. You also say I went into the laundry mat the other day and someone had Demetra K playing on their phone listening to an old show. We had a long conversation over the subject of that show. Really? Oh my God. That's amazing. I mean, really, for real. Like, what are the chances, right? That is awesome. And let's see here. And only Pamela's where he says, yes, those banks foreclosed on Black families, and then they turned around and got bailouts, which is stealing. Yep, it sure did. All right, so let me go on down. And Thunder says, I went on a hunt to find Sheila Jackson Lee political posters. Oh, you found one? Oh, you say, and I didn't find any. Did you know? This is odd. I wonder why. No, I haven't seen any either. But again, I'm not really out much. But when I am out, I have not seen any Sheila Jackson Lee posters. So I don't know if people are stealing them, or maybe she's just like, why bother? I got it in the bag anyway. So I don't know that. I think that is pretty odd. See, Terry, how are you doing? Says, yep, we lost the house my grandfather built messing with that program. Damn. But yep, that's exactly right. A lot of people thought, they felt hopeful, like, yes, somebody's going to try to help us, and paid a lot of money. And you paid these people to help negotiate with the mortgage companies to save the house. And then at the end, you lost the house and the money you paid the companies. And that was predatory too, because they preyed on the hopes of people being able to keep the house like the one their grandfather built. And so I'm so sorry that happened to you all. Donald Tony says, I'm voting for libertarian or any independent. Okay. All right. So let me get down to people have not seen in a minute. Brother Jonell, he says, all that comes before you in this nation is liars, thieves, robbers. It's one big plantation. Got to throw the whole system away on all levels. I totally agree. And do for self. And Debbie said, amen. And for those of y'all, if I'm reading some comments y'all don't see, because some people are on Facebook and then some people are on YouTube. I'll try to put some up so y'all can see. Absolutely blasphemy. Cut the check. All right. So who else is on here? I'm gonna get back to reading y'all comments. And Jocelyn says, I agree. Bring home a black man. Yeah, I mean, I know I would love to. Kiki says, yep. They did a study this year. Since 2014, the black race was the only race that didn't increase. Contrary to popular belief, black women aren't having babies like that anymore. And that has to do with a whole lot of things. But yeah, that's how we gonna stay here, right? Is to populate. That's what everybody else does. They populate. But they also have the resources, and their family is intact, meaning a man and a woman is more under the same roof than we are, so they can do all those things. And it's hard to raise a baby by yourself. I wasn't a complete single mom. I was a single woman with a child. Her father was there, but I think it would have been easier if we were under the same roof. We could have choked each other out under the same roof, but we still would have been parenting. One of us would have surely died. I'll tell you that much. Y'all get the point, though. And Marty says plenty of foster children that need good homes that people can take in, since their parents have either been on drugs in some cases or very abusive in other cases. But I agree with Donovan. Yep, we can adopt. If you don't have children, if that's what you want to do. Pioneer said, Donovan, I'm going to use that line and tell them they can always practice seriously. That's going to be my line now. Okay. DSB says, I agree. My warrior brother, facts and truth spoken. We definitely need each other. One can't do it without the other. Absolutely. Robin says, exactly. We got to get our numbers up and bring back the black nuclear family, black man, black woman, black child. Yes. LS says, Donovan, I laugh my ass off, Donovan. We talk about practice. Allen Iverson, I don't know about that much practicing. I'm trying to wear people out. All right. So for real, let me skip down here.
But you remember, wait, Demetra, do you remember that reference when Allen Iverson, they were criticizing him, and he was like, we talking about practice. So basically what he was saying is, when I'm out there on the court, I'm giving 100%, but we talking about practice.
Right.
So a lot of you sisters talk about practice.
I mean, me practicing ain't going to help. I mean, I don't know.
But it could help a young man or an older man in his abilities.
I'm good. And let me see here. PS36.fun. How you doing? It says a new dating. Oh, that sounds like some. I'm just reading all kind of. It sounds like some troll stuff here. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I already.
Okay, thank you. And Jimmy says Democrats will make it up to us with another raunchy PSA. Right. I'm scared to see what's coming. No pun intended. Because they tend to just do some pretty wild things. And me seeing Stacey Abrams on stage with Big Lotto, and Big Lotto was using the P word and the B word, and Stacey Abrams is up there. I don't know if the sign says vote for Stacey, but it's like, Stacey, do you hear what she's saying? Like, do you hear what's coming out of her mouth?
Yeah, they're gonna bring back Chub Rock,
I guess. All right, so let's see here. Put this up here. Dorothy Hall, how you doing? It said there's no way I would vote for neither party. I remember Trump in New York in the 80s and a Central Park 5, Central Park 5. We took out an ad in the New York Times for those young boys to be executed in years. So yeah, he did. We can't lie about that. He did do those things. And
right. Wait. Yeah. But Dorothy Hall, I mean, you're talking about the 80s. You look like you're about like in your 20s. What's going on here? You weren't even around in the 80s. What are you talking about?
Chicory. And Rain says Warnock is a slumlord. That's what it sounds like. And tell it like it is. You say Herschel Walker held up a fake badge and still stomped Warnock. When he did that, I was like, Lord have mercy. Okay, but you're right. He did. I'll tell you. I think Herschel was the Trojan horse, making Ralphie boy thinking, oh, he's stupid. He gets up there. It's almost like, what's the name of that frog? And who was it? What cartoon character was like, he could talk. I'm telling you, he could talk. And then whenever he would show the frog is. But then when he leaves, it's like,
yeah, that's the WB frog. That was the WB frog.
That's what it reminded me of. Warnock. It's like, he's stupid. I'm telling you, everybody, he's stupid. Then he gets up there and he's like, well, the EMC and squared equals this, that. Well, your church got the PPP loan.
And did you see him start stuttering and his eyes got big? It was like, oh my gosh.
He's like, I'm firing my whole team. Y'all told me it was stupid. Oh. All right, let me get to the rest of these comments. And Shirley says, my husband and I were landlords, and if a tenant was short or late paying their rent, we would have told them from jump, just come and talk to us because we all fall into hard times. And they're like, yeah, couple bucks though. It's like, come on, man, it can't be that serious, you know?
Yeah, and the funny thing in our community, the thing is, people got to understand this. If you've been with your landlord for a long time, they don't really want to lose a guaranteed good paying tenant. So, times do happen. And the biggest problem that we have in our community is our pride. And we don't want to communicate to people that we might need a little help here, or can I get some more time? Because Demetra says this all the time, and I laugh every time I hear it. She says, when your cell phone about to go out, y'all have no problem calling the company up, talking about I need an extension. But it's the same thing when you're dealing with your landlord, right? Hey, I'm having some problems. Can you help me out? So, and a lot of people don't realize this. Do you know during the pandemic that recently happened, a good majority of us rent from people that look like us, unless you were with a corporation or something like that. But let's say you're renting a house. Most Black people that are landlords maybe have one or two properties. Because we did not pay our rent, even though the government gave us money to do so, we screwed over more Black wealth in our community and jeopardized that landlord that looks like us, that has now foreclosed. The bank has now foreclosed on that property, and that landlord lost that property and that wealth. That is also affecting us, making us a permanent underclass. And we are doing this to ourselves. You can't say the white man is doing this. We are doing this to ourselves. White man has a lot to do with it. But the point is, a lot of money was given during the pandemic, and rent was supposed to be paid. People were telling you to pay the rent. But unfortunately, a lot of people didn't do it.
Thunder says, how about the more mature ladies who are past childbearing become the new elders of the community, like the little lady that watched over everyone and fed most of the neighborhood? I wouldn't have a problem with that. Just come get your kids after a couple hours. Because, mama want to go have some fun too. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to watch your kids all day, because some of these parents don't know how to bring their asses back. So yeah, I can see that. Listen, I ain't that old. Damn, I'm 51, but I can see doing that. And admittedly, I don't have any grandchildren. I don't know if I ever will, but I do have great nieces and nephews, and all of that. So they're kind of like grandchildren to me. Let's see here. And Deanna, how you doing? It says, we the people need to stand up and take control of this great country. I totally agree with you. And I'm going to move on down a little bit so I can catch up. Thank you so much, Black America. I love and appreciate you for that. We also have a Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. If y'all want to contribute, become a member, like, subscribe, and all those good things. Love and appreciate you for all of that. So thank you so much. And Thunder, you say, bring Big Mama back. We used to call the ladies mama, and then her first or last or mother, and then when her first or last name, we need to bring this back. I totally agree. Where are the big mamas? Get the big mamas out the club. It's time to stop partying, come home, and, be the pillar of the community, right? We need the matriarchs of our community to come on out the club, pull them skirts down, not down off, but, lengthen the skirts a little bit, and, and come be the mothers of the community. So I totally agree with you on that. LS, she said, laugh out loud, y'all killing it. Y'all know we ain't got no sense. Pioneer says, I wouldn't mind seeing Stacey Abrams in Take Your Booty to the... I'm going to let them read that so they don't think I'm making this up. I wouldn't mind seeing Stacey Abrams in the Take Your Booty to the Polls video. Laugh out loud, really laugh out loud. I wouldn't. I was about to say, I hope not, because that... I don't know. That might be your thing. I'm not going to knock it. You might be into that. It's your choice, Thunder says, I love that song, Slow Rolling. That older woman turned him out. You like that, huh? Pioneer says, listen, family, I got to go to the market and get my fish for my Sunday dinner. Great show as usual, King and Queen. Thank you so much. And when you going to make us a plate? You're always talking about this fish fry you're doing every Sunday, but we don't ever get a plate. But enjoy yourself, and thank you for being here. Studio says, Trump had New York a paradise in the 80s. What's she talking about? She's talking about the Central Park Five, that he took that ad out saying that they should be, for doing something that they were falsely accused of. So, and he to this day has not said he was sorry, and he doesn't think he was wrong, and he still thinks that they are guilty. So that's what she's talking about.
He doesn't think they're wrong. The courts exonerated these kids, and the city paid a significant payout, your tax dollars.
Yes, indeed. Kiki says, my son's father isn't involved, and my OB refused me to litigation because I have only have one kid, but I knew I didn't want any more kids out of wedlock, so I became one and done. But Black women have been declining in births for like 2 decades now. Yeah, and some of that is why I tell y'all my daughter should be 30 this year, and she doesn't have any kids. And I taught her, you're not having no kids, without no husband. I don't want no grandkids before I have a son-in-law. I've taught her that. I'm like, not that I regret you, but don't do what I did. Bring me a son-in-law first, and then we can talk about the grandkids. So and Kiki, your reason is why a lot of women are just like, I'm all right. I'm, maybe one. I have one, and for your reason too. I didn't want to have a bunch of baby fathers, so I had one child. And Dial Tony says, I could get Demetra. Okay. And K-Man, how you doing? He says, this is the party that promoted the weapons of welfare and the quiet but effective, I think it meant in the quiet but effective weapon of school desegregation. Most you will not understand that last one. You're probably right about that, which is why you're going to have to break it on down to us. We get kind of silly toward the end. And Monet, I hope you have a blessed week as well. You say, I hope you have a blessed week. Halloween, the Sunday, come down to Greek Town and enjoy yourself. So I think you're talking to the pioneer. Halloween is coming up, isn't it? And Brother Jonell, he says, when you look at the overall reality of America, it's not self-sustaining on any level and hanging by a string. We need to do for self-stock up. You better believe it. I do stock up. Every time I go to the store, I at least get water. We have a lot of beans and stuff like that, man. It's going to be a mess around here if all we got to do is eat beans and drink water. Or maybe I should get some gas X or something too. I don't know. But yeah, definitely get you some water.
Well, you think you would learn anything from this pandemic? We have a food shortage going on all around the world. You guys go into the grocery stores, you see things are still lacking because of the supply chain network. So I don't care if you're in an apartment. I'm just talking to my people. I don't care if you're in an apartment. I don't care if you're in a house. You should be having some vegetable seeds available. And if not, planting fruits and whatever in your backyard so that if this thing really does go down, Demetra, tell you, in my backyard, I won't have that problem.
And I'm going to give you guys the address for a small fee when it goes down. Y'all can go visit Donovan. It's easy to hop his gates too, so don't worry about it. And Jocelyn says, I read somewhere the other day where this guy was saying the amount of human beings in this planet is enough to fill the state of New York. I don't know how true that is, though. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of people in one spot. Maybe, I don't know if it's all of America, some of America, but yeah, that the planet, that'd be a lot. It'd be like, but I do believe you did hear that somewhere though. Rain Love, he says, Mama have a life too. I'm just saying, I won't be one of those grandmas where you just go all day and all night and not bring the grandbabies over here. We'll play and jump and eat baked cookies and watch all the stuff on TV. But I want you to come back, get the kids so I can go to sleep and do whatever that's I gotta do. And Only Pounds Ways, it says, that is true. Some people get carried away. I don't mind watching the babies. Yeah, but come on back. Only One Who Cares says exactly our tenants were not truthful with us. Yeah, I mean, if people took the money and didn't pay their rent, I was like, what did you expect? It's called due process, baby. You got to get, it's due process. It's going to take you a while to get me up out of here. I'm going to have 6, 7, 8, 9 months to be.
Yeah, did you guys see that one lady that went into an Airbnb and she had to go through the eviction process? That lady was having a problem.
Yeah, I would have waited for her to leave.
Yeah,
you going to the store? Okay, locks would have been changed.
Yeah, but what does that tell you guys as us as a people? We got to stop worrying about everybody else. Stop worrying about what the Mexicans are doing. Stop worrying about all these other groups and whatever. we need to start worrying about what we're doing and how we are going to move forward as a people, because it's obvious this country does not give a damn about us, nor do these other groups. Because if the Asians really cared about Black people, they could have included us on that bill. They could have, but they don't give a damn. We are out here by ourselves. We have no friends. And until we start realizing that and stop fighting each other and saying, you know what, and I'm talking to the Black men out there, go back and get your baby mama if she isn't with somebody else, or at least support her in the support of your children, period.
Michael says, Demetra and Donovan, both of you were, you interviewed a sister from the Green Party 2020, Tamara Shealy Johnson, or Johnson Shealy, I think it is. Says, Donovan, would you support that sister if she were running for U.S. Senate in Georgia?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But in 2020, we, what was the lady that voted for the Green Party? We interviewed her.
Angela.
Yeah, Angela, whatever. Yeah. So I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget.
Yeah. As long, but you know, you got to remember though, let's get this clear. You don't expect me to do nothing specifically for Black people, do you? No. That's what we heard. She said, she told it to us straight. No.
And how's that been working out for you, Kamala? How's that kneading the biscuits in the kitchen working out for you? And Artemis, how you doing? He said, some folks may like living on the plantation. They sure do act like it. There is the Job Corps, us military. I think he meant U.S. military, and says, and they will teach you a trade. There are apprenticeship programs, plumbing, welding, refrigeration, air conditioning, auto repair, solar technology. They're running out of excuses. Let's get to work. Yeah, and those are the things that we actually need. Yeah, Rain, we would need some gas X. I am not lying, because me and Beans don't really hang out like that. But God forbid if that was the only thing we had to eat. Ooh. And
you guys are helping the plants breathe.
What about us? We can't breathe under those circumstances, okay? K-Man says, exactly, food shortages everywhere. Yeah, I mean, at this point, and I'm not trying to be mean, we'd be foolish not to try to take some measures to stock up. I mean, it just, like, if you get caught out there, and let's say it goes down, not if, but when, and you're like, oh my God, I don't have no water, I don't have no food. I mean, that's kind of really your fault. You know what I mean? Like, if you're out there buying expensive shoes and purses and things that are, you know, going to depreciate, and you didn't go get extra bottles of water and some canned foods or beans or whatever, that's really on you. And I don't think anybody should really have too much sympathy for you when you talk about, well, we sure is hungry. Like, how about you try putting those Jordans on the barbecue grill and put some salt on there? I give you some seasoning to see how they taste, but that's about all I can do for you. So yeah, I mean, don't get caught out there, if you will. And Debbie says, me too, Amazon is where I bulk shop. Yeah, you could do that. Sam's Club, Costco. So there's a lot of options out there. There's no more excuses at this point. And Lee says, food is way up. Yes, it is. And I'm primarily plant-based. Occasionally I do eat meats. That's why I said primarily. And even when I go shopping plant-based, I'm like, damn, $70 for some damn vegetables? You know, it's like, okay, whatever. But you got to eat. And Robin says, yeah, stock up on gas X in my Atlanta. That's a lot of beans, right? But we ain't going to be hungry. And LS says, study Gandhi and integration, desegregation, and accepting Margaret Sanger Award in 1966. MLK was no good for us. Be careful, because there's a lot of people on here who will get you for that comment. But I agree, he did accept that award from Margaret Sanger. And Brother Jonell says, don't give Donovan a dress queen. Yeah, for the right dollar amount, I will. He lives at, and he got a lot of food in his backyard. Yes, he does. Like the Garden of Eden out there. And let's see, Marnie said, Demetra, I would love for you to address the fact that with me and my cousin being disabled, we live in a building that our rent was constantly being paid. Look at how we were forced to live in 2022. Yeah, I mean, your situation is very unfortunate. And unfortunately, that's a lot of people. I mean, some of the stuff that's out there for rent even is horrible. They want thousands of dollars for it. I'm like, is you high? I would not pay that, but some people are going to be forced to do that. So, and Studio says the problem is Biden's sanction on Russia, the world's largest food and oil supplier. It's Biden's fault. That does have a lot to do with it. Absolutely. So A lot of people are saying it's going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, we saw the gas prices come down, but now you're starting to see them go up, and so I don't know.
And here in California, we haven't had a refinery explosion yet, and the prices keep going up.
Right, not yet. Cross your fingers. Tawana says, buy microgreen seeds in bulk. I am definitely going to look into that because, we need our nutrients. I mean, beans are cool, but, you need some other nutrients. Yes, Jocelyn, the grandmamas are in the club. Angela, how you doing? You said, yes, stock up on non-perishables. I'm glad Black farmers are suing Jim Crow Joe. Prices of groceries are ridiculous. A honey-baked turkey was $56 last year, and they're $76 this year. How much for a half of a turkey? That is outrageous. And Thunder says, Mother Johnson, baby, y'all, go outside. He said, okay, this is Mother Johnson. She's saying, baby, y'all go outside now. I need to talk with the insurance man. Here is some change. Y'all go and get something and come back in a little
while. To make that installment payment.
Right. We talking business. Y'all going out somewhere with it. And then take your time. Go on, here's a little something. Y'all go on and get you some ice cream.
White man made that visit and the door ended up being closed. Grandma, why y'all talking in the bedroom?
Right. Artemis says the Asian bill. What bill was that? And so I don't know if that's in response to something we said.
Yeah, no, that was something I said that the Asian crime bill.
Gotcha. Rain says, so you are replying to Robin. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Angela Stanton King. Yes, I always forget her name. But yeah, she was with the Green Party, and I forgot the guy she was running with. He's a white dude, nevertheless, but I forgot his name, so forgive me. But we did interview her as well. And Rain says, we sure is hungry. Yeah, that's what this is going to say. We sure is hungry. I bet. I bet you are. Now, that would be kind of cold, right? To be like, yeah, tell me how that works out for you. But it's like, Because like I told you, I used to sell life insurance. And when I see people like doing car washes and bake sales and stuff, I'm sad, but then I'm not, because I'm like, I know somebody came and talked to you at least once saying, hey, buy this life insurance. And you had every excuse in the world not to do it. And here it is, your mama done died and you're out there washing cars to try to bury her. And so it's like, you've been warned.
Yeah. And you know what else is sad that I'm finding out too? You've got a lot of people where mama's died and let's say the father's been dead or whatever. But she was married to a military member. You can bury her in the national cemetery in your local area because she was married to that military member. A lot of us don't know that. It's so sad that in our country, ignorance is very prevalent within the Black community. We don't use our benefits. We don't use things that we invest in, and we let, and we just suffer.
Yes, indeed. Robert Donner is going to have us all banging at his door to get to his garden. Let me catch a plane to Cali. Yep.
Yeah. I want you guys to remember. You remember the remake of Dawn of the Dead when they were just shotting the zombies from the building? That's what I'm doing. I have a peach tree out there for y'all to help yourselves.
Hey, bro, you only got so many pews. I mean, eventually we gonna get in, so you might as well just let us in. Open the damn door, okay? And Artemis says, how long will you need to stock up on food? It could last for months. My brother, who hates tuna, he stocks, buys tuna cans. He's got a garage full of tuna cans and water and this, that, and the other. So every time you go to the store, even if it's just one thing that will last for a while, whether spaghetti, noodles, or sauces and things like that, do that. But and be able to maybe grow some food or like there's just, I don't know, but just make sure that you have something to eat, even if it's the same thing. It ain't what you want to eat, but at least you're going to eat, right? Maybe change the seasoning on the beans. One day you have them sweet, one day you have them savory. I don't know. But yeah, every time you go, just do something. If you're able to plant a garden, try to do that. So there's different things that we can do to not get caught slipping, if you will. And Michael says, if the Republicans win the election and the economy improves, what Black agenda do you demand from them? We demand the same thing from them, but again, we don't mostly vote for the Republicans, right? We mostly vote for the Democrats, and so I think the strategy would be more for them. They want to get back in office. They know what they need to do, right? It's like when you punish a child. In order for you to get back in good standing with your parents, you got to do what they asked you to do in the first place, right? So it's the same concept. And Dundee says, question, have y'all been keeping up with what's going on overseas with Russia and the Ukraine and the move they made on the U.S. with the gas production? I personally have not been keeping up with that. It's something I guess I will have to study. Do it if you don't mind me asking. If you could tell us, Ray,
Yeah,
right?
Just real quick, Russia recently moved troops into the other region on the other side of Ukraine to stage troops over there in regards to the Western powers, because America is hoping Ukraine does do what they do so we can get those oil reserves near the Ukrainian border.
Yes, and Brother Jonell was saying for at least 3 to 6 months. That's true. A supply for at least 3 to 6 months. So whatever that is to you, what you like to eat, it was not going to perish, something you could save. What is that going to be? I mean, for some people, it's going to be eating a whole lot of canned foods, or making some beans, the Navy bean, the NOI, that is the staple food that they have is the Navy bean. It's very nutritious. So get you some Navy beans. I got some Navy beans, a bunch of dry Navy beans. I mean, you can do a whole lot with a Navy bean. You can make pies and a whole host of things. Beans, obviously, right? There's a Black-owned company. They're making like vegan meats out of the Navy bean. So there's a lot of things that you could do. Thunder says, Demetra K, did you just reach in the bank? I haven't seen that in a long time. Yes, honey. Go on to the corner store and go and get you some ice cream.
Yeah. Wait. How did Grandma have ketchup in her bra? I never figured that out. Everything came out of Grandma's bra.
Are you sure that was ketchup? You sure that was ketchup? Hello, beautiful sunlight. How are you? Yeah, it's just a little bit late, but you can catch the replay. We're about to come on out here, but I'm going to read the last of these comments. But I am glad that you made it so we can acknowledge you. Let's see here. All right, let me get down to the bottom. Thunder says, I remember those dollars fresh from the bank smelled like Johnson & Johnson baby powder or Tussie or Funk if it was hot. K-Man says U.S. government.
Wait, did he say dollars or food stamps? See, Grandma used to pull them food stamps out.
Both, right? Both. Yeah. And K-Man says K-Man the Hebrew, he says the U.S. government is attempting to cause off food shortage by off farmland or paying the farmers to get rid of existing produce, wickedness to the ninth degree. I think he meant, but yeah, I mean, we can stock up, right? We know this. We have the information. There's no need to get caught slipping at this point. Jan says no. As extremely large community, we need to clean house. Yes, indeed. And Rob, how you doing? Says sometimes something tells me if Warnock was a Republican, you would blame the tenants for not paying the rent on time. But again, we're not Republicans over here. We're not Republicans. We're not Democrats. But I'm just thinking the Reverend, at the very least, should have compassion for people, especially if they're only missing $30. Come on. Surely we cannot be agreeing with that. So regardless of who it is, right? Sherry says, yes, Kamala Harris left my ass off. And Brother Jonell says, don't forget, U.S. is invading Haiti as well for resources. Haiti has oil. Yep. And somewhere else I just saw it was an African country that just struck oil. I can't remember where it was. I'm like, oh my God, they should have kind of probably kept that under wraps. And the original man, how you doing? He says Russia has nukes aimed at us. Yes, indeed. All right, so let me get down to the bottom. All right. Brother Jonell says, when America seeks refuge in unison, aka warfare, it's only evidence its vitals are low and its debts is beyond measure. And Johnson says, Donovan, what do you recommend to plant indoors? You type it in there. All right. And only Pamela Wade says, me too, I have dry beans. Yes, a lot of dry beans. My stomach hurt even just thinking about them. Thunder says she kept money, keys, identification, everything in there. I never knew her to have or use any pockets. Yeah, my grandmama, great grandmother would say the only two suckers I trust. And that's what she kept her money to. I've never kept anything in there per se. It's like, I'd rather not. Can you imagine? Because I've seen somewhere as a store where they had to put a sign says, we don't want money from your boobs. You know, can you imagine being like a grocery store or a cashier and somebody says, oh, wait, hold on a second. Here you go. It's like, nah, I'm good, ma'am. I'm good. And let's see. Wow. And let me read this morning. You say, I went to Aldi's in Redford, Michigan, and what would normally run me no more than $40 would wound up costing me 76 and a half. It was overcharged that I had to get it down to 51. Shop again, overcharge. My hairs, is that how you say it? Yeah. I go to Aldi's every once in a while. It seems to be reasonable, but yes, it has gone up as well. So it's just that way everywhere. But we need to cook at home more and find more sensible meals. I wish people like spaghetti, like we used to eat back in the day. There's ways to zhuzh it up and make it nice, but spaghetti is cheap. If you put some seasoning on, it's good. And Thunder says, I even seen an older lady produce a pistol from the bank one day. Wow, she must have had some tig old bitties. And Beverly says, if Warnock is a real pastor, I'm the Easter Bunny. Right. And Studio says, Uganda struck oil and gold. Yes, I knew it was one of those, but yeah, it was like, maybe I should have kept that under wraps. And Jonelle says, beware, be safe, peace. Yes, indeed. And Thunder says they even had Virginia Slims. They were soggy, but they had them and the matches, right? Sunlight says, laugh out loud. Yes, indeed. I've seen those signs. Yeah. And Michael, you say, Donovan and Demetra, let us say that Republicans don't support tax reparations for you guys, but are willing to give tax breaks for Black businesses, support the Second Amendment, etc. Support Republican. And your comment cut off. And Moni, it says, Donovan, if you have children or if your father was in World War II, do the children get the opportunity to be buried in a cemetery that's meant for military if their father or mother was in the service? So that's a no. Got you. Brother Samuel says, I remember as a child, a child see for the first time an older woman whose house we waited for. The bus would take money out of her bra. Where do you think that came from? I just think that was like, it's secure here, right? I know ain't nobody going up in there. You might be able to go under a mattress, but you ain't going up in there. You're going to draw back a nub if you do. I just think it was really for safekeeping. But nobody ever really talks about the money those women lost, Rob says Roland Martin is acting stupid and he doesn't dare to invite anyone from Black media on his show, but he'll just insult them and call them names. Anyway, yeah, he won't do that. He's not interested in having a spirited conversation. I think he kind of learned his lesson from when he had Dr. Umar Johnson on there and they thought they was going to clown him and they got clowned. I think that is Roland Martin's most watched anything, into the millions. I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times myself. And how that Dr. Umar was like, oh yeah, hold my beer. And I don't think Roland wants to take that chance again. So yes, Michael's comment was cut off due to word restriction. Would you support Republicans? I would support anybody who is supporting the betterment of Black people in any way, shape, or form. I would. And when I say the betterment, I'm talking about specifics. I'm not talking about something everybody else can get. We want specifics. So I would support that. I don't belong to any party, and I don't think we really should either. Media is evil. How you doing? Says Roland Martin. Equals dung beetle. Okay. And Thunder says, that's right. They always said, ain't nobody going up in there. That's right. Are you going to draw back a nub if you try? So anyway, that's all we have. I thank and love y'all so much for being here. Donovan and I will be back here, I think on Tuesday. Donovan, I think we might have to do it a day early because I have something to do on Tuesday. Our podcast is not live. It is our pre-recorded. Usually we talk about relationship stuff or something else that may be trending. So y'all please tune in for that. Of course, we'll be back here with Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. That is live. Walter is a hot mess, but he always gives us great financial advice. So please stay tuned for that. In the meantime, y'all stay blessed. Again, we have ways to donate to the channel right here on the bottom. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Think about becoming a member at the very least. Like this video. We will see y'all later. Be blessed until next time. Peace. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Donovan. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Facebook. And Twitter.